You can tell a first-time entrepreneur by how excited they are when someone says that they got a meeting with an investor. Investors take meetings. That's their job, is to take meetings. Investors understand that the longer they wait, the more likely it is that something's going to happen that screws things up, right? And so what you want to do is get them to commit as quickly as possible. And you have to understand that it's not in their best interest to commit. Let's say you want to raise $1 million, right? You need to figure out and negotiate with the investors who are committed or interested what the minimum amount is that would be enough for them to say, okay, let me wire you the money, right? Maybe it's $250,000, right? As soon as you get that $250,000, say, okay, give me the money, let's put it in the bank. In our particular case, we graduated Dreamit, started fundraising in October of 2009, and then in fact had an agreement with my uncle's boss, who had sold his last company for like 25 million or something, for him to put in, I think it was like $200,000 or something like that. And we had agreed on a term sheet, we agreed on, the price, everything. Christmas happened, New Year's happened, and then the first week of January 2010, he called me and said, or emailed me and said, I can't do this, I'm backing out. Now, contrast that with professional investors. Turns out they do the same thing. So you, over the summer of 2010, we raised a second round of funding, and we had professional investors whose names you would know commit $50,000, $100,000, and they even told us at the time, you can use my name to help convince other investors to jump on board as well. And so we did, right? And turns out a month later, they got cold feet as well. We actually had a situation where we had an investor sign a contract, give us the check, I deposited the check, a day later he calls back and said, hey, could I have that money back? Well, all right, so investors that have made the process easier are the ones who say they're gonna commit and then get you the money right away, or they sign the documents right away. So I was able to raise, I believe, $250,000 in 6 days. And the way that worked, there was a happy hour that AngelList was hosting at the Four Seasons, and Paige was there as well as Dave McClure. And so Paige pulls Dave over and says, you have to talk to these guys, I just invested in them. Dave and I go out to the balcony so that he can smoke a cigarette, don't tell his wife. He, on the spot, agreed to invest $10,000 of his own personal money because he was still putting together his 500 Startups fund. And then once Dave was in, it was just the floodgates were open, right? Because he's such a name brand guy. So we've had a number of investors after conversations of 30, 40, 50 minutes, say, okay, I'm in, here's $25,000. And then they don't back away from that, right? And they actually get you the money the next year, they get you the signed documents, right? There's no reason to wait. The longer you wait, the more likely it is that either they get distracted and walk away, or a new competitor comes out that scares them, Google does something. Like you can't control the world. All you can control is your bank account. So get that money.